So let's go over shooting in direct sunlight. So as you can see, I am facing the sun. So normally when you have your clients facing the sun, you already see that they're squinting. You can do two things. You can tell them to either look down, you're gonna count to 3, and at the count of 3, they're gonna look up at the camera. Or they can close their eyes, and again, in the count of 3, they're going. Biggest tip when you do tell them to do that, try to tell them not to make their eyes really big when they look at the camera. And then also when I have my clients face the sun and they're squinting really hard, I usually have them either face each other or look away. Okay, and another tip when shooting in direct sunlight is you can have them backlit, just like this. And this way your client is not squinting. Or you can have beautiful side lighting. Okay, so now let's go over camera settings. So the very first setting when I have lighting just like this is to set my ISO at the lowest setting. And with my Canon R6, it's at 100. The second setting that I'm going to set is I set my aperture next because I want to prioritize my style. So set your aperture based upon your preference and the style of shooting. The last setting that I set is my shutter speed. I usually don't set my shutter speed second because I already know I'm going to have a very high shutter speed based upon my highlights. And so I know I'm going to have a high enough shutter speed to capture motion. Honestly, a lot of times I usually have to change my aperture based upon the highlights of my photo. So let's say I set my shutter speed really high, the highest it can go. And so the only setting that I can really change, because I already set my ISO at the lowest setting, I set my shutter speed at the highest setting. So the only thing to change at that point is my aperture. And you want to change your aperture based upon the highlights of the photo. Let's take this photo for example. I am going to make sure to set my camera settings based upon my client's dress. Remember that if you blow out the highlights or the whites in this photo, then it is really hard to recover the details when you go back and edit. I hope those tips were helpful, and comment if you want a more in-depth tutorial.